All right, let's see if we can do this in one take, nice and easy like. So, this is an update video. I had a good friend of mine, hey, look, there's a 3D model on a 2D background. It's just like one big picture, basically. Huh. Anywho, so I've reordered all the fleets. I had a good friend, well, rather a alliance member who's in charge of fleet building. He kind of gave me a lot of pointers and tips, so I learned a good bit from him, and this is the edited product. My single fleet strength is a lot higher than normal now, which is a good thing. But let's just walk through it easily. So I used to be using Nicholas, which apparently is not good. It's good for dueling, but not good in general. I believe he talked about how it has different attack rates than other admirals. I don't see that here though, but I trust his judgment and I'm learning. So before I know better than somebody else, I'm going to trust what they, at least hear out what they're saying and trust that what they're saying makes sense, that they have some authority on it. And he's done a very good job. And he's improved my build, so I'm just learning from him. But he was right about one thing. This is a much better for kinetics, which is the meta. This is, Morpheus is a much better person to main. And I actually leveled him. It's so funny. His name's a reference. It's just funny. I'm trying to see it. He is a much better configuration than Nicholas is. Because first off is that Nicholas' main damage buff, it comes from the back. And the main is alright, but it's not that high. I mean, I don't know what level that is, but only 27% in the middle at level 18 is not very high. So you only get... That's a high amount, right? It's over the back 2 ships, whereas for Morpheus, you get it across the whole front line here, 4 ships, which is twice as many. And I mean, it gets pretty high very easily. So let's kind of talk about... He helped me understand what better ships are better for tanking. So I switched out my front line. Oh, and since then I've collapsed my nonsies, so now this one is fully maxed. I'm still waiting, there's a few edges here and there that needs to be taken care of, but overall it's basically, it's finally ready. It's basically done, which is a good thing. I'm using my Mycenae as a tank ship just because it has so much resistances and it has a high health pool. Also, I wanted a video about Spectral Aether. This thing is ridiculous. Like, it is so hard to get pieces for this. I think that's like a reoccurring joke, among this game is just getting this the enhanced form are pretty much impossible. But literally, like, sorry, just looking at it, if you enhance it, like the first one is 110% resistance and 110% armor, and then doubling your attack. Like, yeah, this thing is crazy. And the thing is, because it's a dreadnought, it's heavier, so it has more. I guess Matrix makes this relevant, but it had larger weapons, right? 3 Ls, 2 Ms, 2 Ss. It has a heavy loadout, which really can take advantage of all this extra damage. And so even now with Matrix and Matrixes, kind of the same. Like, this is the same loadout as that. And a battleship, not a dreadnought. It's more even, but I'm just saying, I have a lot more respect for what this thing can become. I just, like a lot of other people, I don't have pieces. Especially because I started late, didn't save the GEC back then when this thing kind of came around more often and had higher drop rates. So, but regardless of where it is, it's still a good place to, it's still good to put it in the front. This is one of those things that I don't like where it's at currently. Because I can't build for damage. Simply because, for this to be a tank, I need to put some sort of accuracy on here, or else this is all kind of just going to waste. But no, we're getting there. I've collapsed a ton of stuff already. So let's talk about why Pacificator is not in the front, because this is literally easily, even when it's the front, the ships that would last the longest, because it's just ridiculously high amount of survivability. It's probably the most survivable thing on here, aside from maybe this, because its evasion is so high. But this will, anyways, but it's because of this. So I have gotten to around 3,000, and that is before I have gotten this, which is 180%. So we do some math here, right? So that's 3,000 times 2.8 this is basically, again, you do times 1 because it's itself, and then you're adding in that's the 180%, which is 180. It's equivalent to 1.8. So 2.8 is equivalent to 8,400 missile resist. So 8,400 missile resist going through here. 8,400 times 10 is 200. 1 is 20 times 20. Divide that by 15. 11,000 DPS of unmissable damage, which is equivalent to, we're at 3,000, right? So that's like 25% hit rate. So that's 4 times this. That number is 1/4 of this. So, this is 1/4 because only 20% of it has a hit rate. So 20 divided by 4 is 5,000. So we can see pretty clearly that we at least doubling the DPS and unhittable damage if we keep it here. Because of that, if you leave it in the back, it will last longer, and thus have a more often chance of getting through the damage. Because 15 seconds is it's not a terribly long time, but it's a fairly long time. I guess it doesn't really matter, but I'll have to think about that. I'm still thinking about putting it in the front or the back, give this more of a, because give this more of a chance to build this for damage. I probably should do that, actually. Yeah, I'm probably gonna do that. Move this to the back, switch it around so I can make this more of a damage dealer. Because look, this thing is probably going to live if everything around it dies, which is the point anyways. It doesn't really matter. I'll have to monitor it in battle and just kind of see when it goes. Just keep track of that. I don't know though, because like that number seemed higher when I was planning this video. 15,000 DPS. What is it? 15. 11,000 DPS. Oh, okay, I understand now. Yeah, okay, so to get that number with only 25% hit rate, it has to be times 4. So it's more like 44,000 extra DPS to get the true DPS number. Right, because if this number, it's basically adding this amount. It has to be adding this amount to here for it to get the damage it's actually going to do. So like, just saying, 11,000 actual damage that doesn't miss is equivalent at 3,000 accuracy to this amount, because that accuracy is 25%. So to inverse that, you have to times it by 4. So that's like the effective DPS that'd be added onto here to make that work. Hopefully that makes more sense about why that's pretty helpful. And I have to understand something too, is like, that's really high, considering again, this is a tank ship, right? A lot of ships, it's one or the other, but I have a chance to take one ship and make it much higher. Like this is 7,743, 330, 60%, so 6 points. So it's just 6,370 times 0.6 is only 3,000 DPS, right? This thing has no DPS. This is a lot higher because of the special skill. So that's helpful, right? Oh yeah, this thing, of course, I didn't really realize just how important this thing is, but apparently it's the second highest damage dealer because it has 2,000 extra accuracy. It's got, just overall through the stack it gets almost like 3,000 accuracy plus. I think it's 134% kinetic damage on top of another 68%. So I said, yeah, that's like 200 per, well, hold on, that's like 190% extra damage for kinetics in this ship. That's very high. About as high as this is. Of course, this is better because it has your penetration, and that one does not. We're just reading it over. I mean, it's about the same because this is 2,000 in combat, whereas this is 1,400 off on the board, and then another 1,000 in combat. So this is better, but this is a very close second, for sure. I could be wrong, maybe it's higher. I'm trying to see here. What am I missing? Why is this so close? What do I not have on here? Okay. I'm curious, so let's just put into... Oh, okay, yeah. This has 3 Ls. This one only has 2. Yeah, that makes sense. That explains why this one's probably going to do more damage. That makes sense. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory. So, what's fun is the rest of the fleets. How do I hodgepodge what I have left into something actually usable? I got another Athena, and I put 2 points in that, so it's better than nothing. I'm kind of really shy on... I'm low on on hyperfluid layer, so I'm trying to chip through that. I melted a lot of things for the Star Genesis event and got this a lot higher, so that I'll be able to upgrade it and be where I want and need it to be when I get this up, be 110%. But yeah, this is another good ship, mostly because when you do fully upgrade it, you'll get your armor penetration. That's very helpful. What are some things I wanted to talk about other than this? I just reordered and restacked all of it. Everything seems to be doing a lot better, so good on him. And it was good for me to realize, like, Ares is a really good tank ship, even though you would think it's for damage, but the way that it stacks out is really good for tanking, good for front lines. I haven't bothered to go back and... Yeah, I don't know what it is by missiles, I just don't like them. I can't get a missile fleet to work okay, which we're going to talk about in like a few seconds. Because I cannot, for the life of me, get my missile fleet to work correctly. And these suffer from a really low health pool. Health pool is almost... It becomes one of the biggest problems later down the line for most of your tank ships. It's just that they don't have a lot of health. That's one reason why Kadeth is just so darn powerful. It's just because it gets a million health and just doesn't go anywhere. I'll probably go ahead and switch those out. Can I even do that? Will it yell at me? Oh, that's why I can't do that. Part of me doesn't want to care, but I know that I should. I don't know what to do with you. I mean, I could leave them there and not care. But I'm also running out of accuracy units. I don't have many I have to pull from something. I don't want to do that either. Leave it as is. I'll figure out something. Get some smart cannons off the market, and they're better. Or just put lasers on it. But the thing is, you want to use missiles, I think, have the best use case for it. Lasers only give damage, and penetration is going to be a lot more effective than damage later down the line, obviously. Yeah, I have to figure that one out. I'll have to think about that one. I don't know what I'm going to do about it. Got another 1,000. I can put one on here. I can get 1,500 into it. If I get 1,500 into it from 2.3, that's all right. So 2.5 plus, so that's 3.7 plus 1.5 is 5,000. Accuracy is only a 40% hit rate. Isn't bad, but isn't great. That basically halves this stat down, and that's not very fun. Let me see, because the 2-second weapons have higher accuracy, which in the end is better. But they don't really get those up here. Yeah, they don't separate like that down the line. I thought I had some, I've melted all of them. This is more effective by a long shot than that stuff. get an extra 1,000, which is an extra 10% hit rate. Having less damage. I don't know. Anyways, so this is what I was really excited to talk about. I redid the laser fleet. This thing is ridiculous. Fully maxed Ursa miners, loaded with what I could of the lasers on them. Pretty darn. Actually, this is not maxed. Just need one more. Why is this on here? Look at that later, but anyways. So, oh, I didn't finish this one. Okay, the reason why this is good is because the 4 ships in the main means you get to disperse the second highest amount of damage through many of them. So, I'm just saying, you will leave, the main line will live longer because there are 4 ships the damage is dividing by, I think. Because typically it does do that. It tries to divide, I think it's random, but it tries to divide the damage among all the ships in a row. So, if the front goes down, the main row has a lot of targets, so it will be divided up, and so each ship will get a lot less. We'll get, I think it's like, because between, so what is 23 minus 25 is 8%. Each ship will get like basically 10% less damage if you have 4 in the main row, which means it live longer. Okay, that's your fun fact for the day. Anyways, excuse me. So, I want to talk about, I have these destroyers, and they're pretty darn kitted out. And then I have, obviously, mechanical, which gives them 21%, plus another 22% is 43% on top of these. This is a good ship to put in the back, and it's kitted out with a lot of lasers. 60%, plus another 65%, plus another 72%, and lasers slot in just fine because they have the lowest shield penetration, so it will get that buff, and it'll do a lot of damage. I kept this and put it in here because it has the highest like flagship attack stat. So I was like, sure, why not? And I have it full of Hammer per Gauss cannons. I really do wish I could do like this is a great example of wishing you could have the breakdown per ship, how much damage each ship did. Because I would love to see how much damage this does in battle. I mean, I know that these are pretty high plus the accuracy, but considering what this is at, I'd really be surprised. You know, plus another 12%. Putting that there. I'd just be really curious what this thing does in the end. Yeah, I mean, I got it. It got basically maxed, except for the last 5% damage here, because you don't get another breakthrough after that. Doesn't you guys see it? I need to upgrade these more. Funny, this is like the same amount. So I'm gonna like get a few more of these and probably place these with them. So I get another 1200 and really get this thing stacked up for accuracy. So this thing can just tear through stuff. The clock actually has been living. I'm surprised it hasn't died considering just how weak it is in general. But yeah, 34% plus 21%. Plus 22%, 80% damage. Yeah, this really is pulling. So that same issue with low health pool for the Lacerta. It's got great evade, but it just doesn't. It's not gonna live. I just don't know what it is. You know, it just needs more health. And I've slotted the. I don't know if you guys knew this, but there's. For the base 100 golden armor variants, there is a variance between one that give you more health and ones that give you more of whatever protection there is. For instance, like these two, for instance, these are the same level. One gives you an extra 10,000 health. The other one gives you, 80 more resistance for the same level. So that's an example. So I'm trying to put all the ones that give you the maximum amount of health onto this, but it hasn't worked out for me. Let me see if I can find I didn't know that was a thing. There are 3 variants? How are there 3 variants? That one gives you the most health. That one gives you the most health also. So I need another near red from something somewhere. I'll just tell that, it doesn't need it. Okay. And I got it just so I can get the extra HP buff by breakthroughing it at least once, just so I can get the extra health pool. But I only have so much, you know? I can't just upgrade everything the way I want to. Okay. This is a reference from Monsters vs. Aliens. The missiles say ET go home on the side of them, so I was like, this is a missile, excuse me, missile fleet, so I'll just do that. I can't figure out how to make this thing work. I know DPS-wise they're all about the same, so that's why I kept putting the missiles on here. But nothing feels very good. I don't know why. I can't make this fleet work. I think I'm pretty sure one of the biggest issues is simply because these frigates are basically worthless. They just don't have the health, like I was saying. It's hard to make them... There's not a whole lot to work with, and I don't have a whole lot extra for these anyhow. I mean, look, that's 20,000 extra, 20% more hit rate, which is almost 20% more damage, but it's just not where I want it to be, and it just needs other things. It's just an empty. It's just shot apart. It's not good. It's not tight, but it's better than what it was because I got the good ships out of there. I really wish I had kept this 2 of them separate. I did not. I don't know why I didn't do that. So, but that says what it is. And, you know, 2 Lacertas, and that's great, but again, they have really low health, so not a whole lot I can do with them. This thing is surprisingly kitted out pretty well. It's everything else that's left, but I have 2 Ursa Majors. These are kind of my tank ships. 33% attack, 30% more in combat, 88% more damage. It's not bad. And I just put all the smart cannons on here. Just the higher accuracy versions. Just so I don't have to worry about my accuracy. I think they're both almost the exact same. Yeah. So that does well. The honor, it's not enough to be useful for anything, for me at least. Maybe someone could tell me if I should put it somewhere, but I also don't really have enough fleet points for it. And then since it's Connect, might as well just put Connects on here, and that's what I'm rolling with it. I mean, it's really not bad for just where it is. 17%. So 17, that's 1 4, 7,000, 4, 3, 30, 60% hit rate. So that's 6,000 actual DPS through average hit rate, average evasion rather. Actually, so that's 9,000 plus counting this back on here. That's not bad. This one is not fully done though. But it's just a hodgepodge of what I have left, and I'm just surprised at how well it looks on paper for not doing anything to it. I don't know what this is for, I just have it here. I don't even have any cruisers on here. That's hilarious. I don't have a single cruiser in here. This thing is not even supposed to be here. I wonder if I could put this in the missile fleet. Probably could. Be better in here, better in there than anything over here. I don't think I have. Do I have room? I do not have room for it, but just barely. This is a cruiser. Yeah, everything I have, the slots for where I want them to go are just weird. Just as simple as that. I have no idea where to put. I don't have a battleship for that. Anywho, that's that. So I guess I'll just put this back in here. I want to talk too about Pacificator for a second. So any percent that increases resistance will also do the same increase in damage for the special module. So what that means is, right, we said 3,000 times, that's 1120, right? So if we actually added 20%, so I thought about in the long term, getting a KDEV, putting it in this fleet, right, in here, front line, and it would be 20% plus 20% is 40%, which would be 40% extra resistance on my Pacificator, which would be 4% more damage. So if I had times 1.4 is 15,000 pure DPS, which again at, let's just do times 3, assuming you have 4,000 accuracy, is what I said that was. That's all right. Times 1.4, 15,680, times 30%, right? So it's like 3 times, yeah, so times 3 is 47,000 DPS. That's what this thing would have on a piece of paper to make that work correctly. If you had 6,000 accuracy, that's 60%, which means you need an extra 30% damage. So we times, what is that? Do that math, 0.6? Probably something like that. It's pretty amazing, Joe, just how important accuracy is. Every 1,000 accuracy is a huge difference in damage. I gotta fix this. The thing about, I really wanted to have the Furies, these, I want to have these in my main fleet. What are these called? Hail Ripper. I want to have these in my main fleet because, you know, duh, but I can't think of a ship to put them on that won't not help. There's only 2 slots here. That we're doing. There's 2 slots here. I mean, I really could, but I just don't like the way it's not focused. 1, not worth it. And obviously all the specials are dependent on how many times your weapon attacks. And that one's a 3-second cooldown, so I can't put that in my non-Z or on here, which is a shame. I wonder, I have 2 here, put 3. I said 1,500, right? If I put 1,500 on here, plus 1,000, so 3,500, 15 on 5,000 is only 1,000, it's only 4% hit rate. Huh, could you stack it like that? So like in a perfect world, you could 60% plus whatever these are. Could you get 100%? I wonder if you can get 100% like that. I really have to think about that. 15%, no. So you can get 65 plus 15. 60 plus 15 is 75%. That's not bad. You probably get higher depending on if you have other ships in play. Anyways, but my point is, that's one of the things with Pacificator. If you have resistance bonuses, you could use that to gain more damage. And so I just think that's a really interesting little secret tidbit to share with my lovely audience who I don't know why they have watched this video this far. Maybe you guys just like people talking and stuff. Blah, 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 blah. Alright, that's going to be it for this video. Time to start the dailies and such. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave it in the comments. Thank you all for watching. Take care.